Hey guys, welcome to our live crypto analysis session. Today is Wednesday, the 25th of August, 2021. And let's have an update on the price action that we're looking at. So I'm going to start on the H1 here. So from the H1 price action, you can see that my markings have played out perfectly. We've seen the price break beneath this major area of demand and re-optimize it for supply. And now we're making our way down to a shorter leg from 48.49 all the way down to where we are at the moment, which is 47,394. I expect the price to get lower. Now we've seen the price spike into demand and have a reasonable reaction, but the price has come back already and we're seeing the market move short again. And the next area again, which I told you guys to watch out for, is this area right here. This supply zone is a gateway between the bullish and bearish pressure dynamic we saw. If I go back to this H1 structure over here, we saw the price break beneath this area, return for a use as supply, and then break beneath and continue for the short, which was the re-entry back into our structure here. Now, if you're not too sure what the structure is, without having to go to the higher time frames, I've already kept the markings here. But right here is the A swing. So an intermediate bullish movement trend cycle that we've seen within the trend. Here's A. And out here we have B right here. And then back down to where we are, we have the C swing at the moment, which is right here. Now, the A to B swing and then down to C, the expectation is for the price to move towards this D swing right here. Now, from A, B, C, and D, we've had a massive D swing all the way up to the 50K mark. So as a trade, it was an absolutely fantastic trade. The risk to reward on this was, we're looking at 23.7 pips for 645.7 pips. So the risk to reward on here is at least 1 to 30, if not more, but a massive grain. So congratulations if you captured this trade. Now the dynamics of why we took this trade, okay, we can discuss later on, but we had a fantastic trade anyway. And I expect the continuance of this movement here. Now, looking at Bitcoin pushing short, it means the opportunities are ramping up even more. And there is more chance on these markets for us to grab some great opportunities. Now, I'm going to break some down in a moment for us to have a look at what exactly is going on and see what we can get going forward when it comes to the market. So what I will do in a moment, I'm going to switch over to Tradingview. Now, I like to use both dynamics because I feel comfortable with MetaTrader. As a Forex trader, I trade Forex every day. So trading and analyzing using MT4, okay, with something like Huber's Way is very lucrative for me and very easy for me to see the price. Okay, now, let's look at the higher time frame structure of Bitcoin. What I'll do, I'll just bring up a new chart just to make things easier here. So there's a higher time frame structure that I'm looking for on the price, which is right here. So when it comes to the highest structure of price that we have going forward, we have this break above this area right here on the daily time frame. And again, I told you where we are right now in terms of the order blocks, we're in a very special and important area. Now, I don't trade Wyckoffs in the same traditional way that traders do because there is market manipulation. And again, if you're a trader, okay, and you want to understand how to trade, okay, you're going to need to be able to think about a few foundational points. One of the biggest points that you need to remember is that, okay, Wyckoff's pattern and phases of price action are something that's becoming more and more common. As soon as a trading pattern becomes mainstream, just know that the market algorithm has ramped up on its side to be able to produce something to combat you from making money. Now, that's not the discussion for today. Look out for that video. It will be out tonight. I'll be discussing about Wyckoff and why I trade a modified version. All right, so moving forward here, the price right now is in this range right here, and I'm expecting to see price action move forward from here from the short side. Now, we had a very strong bullish run. Again, the price has returned to the other side of this major area of demand. Now, this major area of demand, which is important to remember, was really the holding point where we were looking for the retracement that was going to take us above the 64K mark and take us to where we all dreamed of, which is towards the 100K mark. Now, this demand zone here had a very strong liquidity to start off with, but started to fan out quite quickly as the price pushed up higher. Now, now we're really entering, we've had body closes within the zone. In the last 3 to 4 days, we've had body closes inside of this order block. And so the liquidity inside of here, now, if you're not too familiar with supply and demand, when a demand order block or a buying order block is broken, when the price returns to the other side of it, on the market order book, it becomes re-optimized. That price range between here and here becomes re-optimized for selling until there's further bullish action to overcome the break, okay? Now, looking at the structure of price action that we have moving forward here, there is a very strong chance that the price is going to form another C leg. And starting from here, since we've had a complete cycle of A, B, C, and D, if I go back to where we are, here is our A, here is our B, and now as to where we are at the moment, if I use the Fibonacci here, in terms of premium and discount prices, we're still really in the premium price, and we've just got to the 50% level really around about now. And so I expect the market to definitely dip down lower and give us some lower down price action towards the next order block. Like I've said before, the major order block beneath this supply zone, flipped demand zone, is this range right here. So as soon as the price starts to enter into this region, now I'm not using Fibonacci in levels to assess the entry, but just where we are right now. So anything from 62 and below is where we have the major crux of demand. Now, this demand is supported by a re-optimization of supply for demand. This supply zone right here, this supply order block, was instrumental in the very strong short we saw in the months of May, June, and July. Now, around the 8th to the 9th of August is the first time we had the body close above this region and the return back to the other side. So this structure that was seen here when it comes to the price action movement that we're seeing here, I do expect the price to give us a break above and then a return back down to this region. So for me, I'm watching what the price is going to do. And most likely, since we've had a break above supply now, how do we interpret price action in terms of what it means for price? So for example, this supply zone, which I've said many times before, was instrumental in the short that we saw from May into May, June, and July. Now, when the price is broken past this area, in translation, what the market is letting us know that we're above the market order book in terms of Bitcoin USD is tipped towards demand above the levels that we saw basically before the crash or the second leg of the crash. So in the market order book terms, there's a lot of liquidity for buying, which is helping the price and supporting the price to move forward and further up. Now, as the price has got to where it is right now, the expectation is a pullback. And the one thing I would say as a warning to you is to watch this order book. Now, on some charts, on many charts I've observed for Bitcoin USD, this supply zone does not exist. However, on to the right side, we can see that the price is respecting this order block quite strongly. Now, the danger I would say, for not a bad thing, but more of the thing to watch out for on the bear side, is if we see the body of the candle close beneath this supply zone, then we're going to have a re-optimization of this area for supply. And the price could make its way down towards or beneath the 40s. Now, if it does, it means that we have a cheaper pullback for us to rebuy. And again, once the price is in this region, there are different targets that the price can go for. I expect the price to possibly go for these lows and even further down. Okay, so keep your eyes peeled, keep your focus very carefully on what the price action is doing, and let us observe what the price wants to do so that we can have a clear view of what's going on there. But if we continue in this bullish price action cycle that we are on, I expect the price to pull back here and then produce a very strong long towards the mark that we should be seeing, which would be towards the next range. Now, why am I using demand zones? Well, because we had a very strong bullish run that turned sour. This is not the normal structure of how the price goes in a bull run, but because we've had major order blocks of demand, which the price used to push up to this high of 64, as the price has been returning back to these areas, these demand zones have become supply in terms of the order book of the market. But every time we have a break above demand, then it's a very clear sign of increased bullish temperature, okay, on the price. So looking at this, let's look over at Ethereum again and let's see where we are. Now, my Ethereum markings here, if I go from the daily structure, we have a demand order book, which is where the market has returned to. Now, from this price feed, the price has actually returned to supply for the first time, minus today, 2 days back. So on the 23rd, so on Monday is the first time the price return actually entered into supply. Now, when we're looking at the structure of price from MetaTrader here, we're seeing a very interesting dynamic, which is the fact that we had a short reversal happening. But as I said, because we haven't entered into daily supply, there wasn't any real bullish, there's no real supply liquidity or no real resistance to bullish activity moving forward. And you can see that the price has pushed up higher and entered into this area. Now we've entered into this area. You've noticed that we have had a strong reversal. Okay, this strong run, the price has come back down to fill out the bullish run here. And we're seeing the price returning back to this area of demand now. Again, Ethereum has a lot of institutional liquidity within it. And even if the price was to drop further, I don't see Ethereum crashing, to say the least. Now, I'm still not removing my claims. It could possibly happen. IC Markets, which is a broker that I also used to trade Forex, I've analyzed their price feed over and over again, ran it through with different places. Now, IC Markets has liquidity gaps on Ethereum and on Bitcoin, Ethereum at different periods of time, number one. So it's not a price feed glitch. And I've heard other traders talk about this, that there's liquidity gaps on Bitcoin at $283. And we have another one on Bitcoin. There's quite a few on Bitcoin, which are not liquidity gaps caused by the price feed, but rather real gaps in the market that should be filled out. There's gaps as low as $9,615 to $35 on Bitcoin I've identified. Now, how that's going to happen, I don't know. If the price does fill that out, maybe that might, who knows? Or those gaps may never be filled, okay? Even on XRP, there's a gap on XRP back from 2017, which is at 0.02 cents. So again, guys, when I'm looking at the structure of price, I'm seeing more that we have rebuy opportunities. Now, Bitcoin hasn't really reached an area for buying at the moment, but Ethereum seems to have done so. So I'll be intrigued to see how that all plays out together. But if the price does break beneath this 3,000 mark, which is of quite of psychological significance in the manner here in red, then I would expect the price to be looking for demand back on the downside or for using an area of supply, maybe, for example, here, back from May, as a launching pad to continue going long. There are multiple areas of supply dotted across here. I think one of them would be, an interesting one would be here. Another would be across here. We have one right here. And then the obvious demand, which is right over here. And the price has already spiked into this area of demand and made it move long, but who's to say that the price wouldn't return here? Okay, so I'm keeping my eyes peeled. On the 30-minute H1 time frame here, I gave you guys the structure of price that I was looking at. We had an interesting order block across the left here that the price has used multiple times. We had the price enter here for a long with a reversal signature. We had a short where the price returned to this order block to use it for the short. We've had the break back above here, and then the price has returned again within this range of 3,111 to 3,131, very small range, a $20 range, but a very important range on the market order book to flip between supply and demand. Okay, now if we had on-chain analytics, then we could look at this in more detail. Now we finally here, and this is an important point here, we have a break between a very strong range in the price. Now that we've had this strong range break within the price here, this is going to cause the price to definitely continue going short. We've had a definite strong close with this massive H1 candle, and we've seen the price break back above here and is aiming to use this area of demand. Now, this area of demand here was the launching pad for the highest price we've seen so far. And a reoptimization of this order block means that we have cheaper buys on Ethereum and possibly beneath 3K. So I would say keep your eyes peeled. I wouldn't personally buy just yet. I would say hold on to it, but this is a grand opportunity that we've just had in the last. We've just had the reoptimization completion in the last hour. Okay, so this is something, guys, to keep your eyes on, and I would say be very aware of as we move forward. All right, now ignoring gold, I thought that was XRP, but it's XAU. Let's look at Ripple, and then I'm gonna move over to the other charts to see what we have going on. So XRP USD, what's going on? So XRP USD again, guys, has stayed within the range we're discussing. the price has used the supply order block and now has returned back into this area of demand. Now, from the D1 structure here, the price has all the room it needs for it to go long. But I do expect Ripple to possibly push short on the weight of Bitcoin pushing short as well. And as I said, I'm looking for a Ripple beneath $1. Okay, and I'm sure that will reflect across other prices. Now, again, Ripple has a liquidity gap, and I'm not going to stop talking about it at 33 cents, which came from the Reddit army when they spiked the price right here to up to about 76, 75 cents, somewhere along that line. Now, I'm not saying I want Ripple to crash or anything. As I said to you yesterday, guys, Ripple is one of those dark horses because if I go to the weekly here, the all-time high for Ripple is at $3.28, according to my price feed. It's the only crypto in the top 10, which has stayed in the top 10 consistently for many years now, which has not at least reached its all-time high. And of course, this is due to the SEC filings and regulations, but I'm very intrigued to see what the price is going to do once that phase is over. So I'm keeping my eyes peeled on XRP. From the structure of price, it looks like we're going to push further short. I'm looking for even an 89 cents mark from here and possibly even lower than that. All right, so I would say keep your eyes peeled. Let's watch out for what Bitcoin is doing. We can see the structure is developing towards a bearish side right here, and we'll see how far this continues moving forward. All right, so I'm going to move over to Tradingview now. Let's have a look at my markings to recap here. Let's look at Ethereum, ETH, and let's have a comparison to see what's going on here with the markings that I have. And let's see what the price is doing here. Okay. All right, people. So my markings are still here. All right. You're going to need the D1 time frame to do this. Now, I've had a lot of suggestions from people asking me to share my markings, and I think I will. So these markings, I've had these for a very long time, even from April. And this D1 area right here, this daily demand zone was really been my focus. Now, on this chart, it actually looks better. Now, the reason I'm using Coinbase, all right, a rule of thumb, guys, if you're looking at crypto analysis, now I've seen some of you do some analysis when it comes to trading, and I think that you need to think about it carefully when you're doing your analysis. Okay, so for example, with Ethereum, I would be happy to use Coinbase or Binance to be able to take their price feed. Reason being is because Ethereum has been one of the first, top cryptos that they've had a lot of coverage over and have listed for a very long time. Therefore, there's a lot more price feed to go by and a lot more stable data and a lot more data to use. Okay. Whereas, let's say, for example, with ADA, I probably wouldn't use Coinbase for a price feed because they only put on ADA quite recently. Okay. I'd rather use something like Kraken or Binance possibly for Cardano. Okay. So I usually make my choices based on the price feed when they will launch, because cryptos are price feeds are launched on different platforms, depending on different factors and therefore at different times. And so the price feed can be completely different, okay, because the exchange and the price is also weighted on how many people are invested in it and how much money is in that system. Okay, so right here, Coinbase is a reliable price feed, which is showing the same thing, and even in a better light as well than what we have on MT4. On MT4, the order block is a bit larger, but it still rings true that we've entered into this area of supply at the moment. We've had a very strong bullish run from the 20th of July, and that's become a historical day. We had, as I spoke about yesterday, we had about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 days at least, or 2 weeks of complete green days. And then we had one bearish day and then a continuance of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 days after. So 5 plus this 14. And then so in the 20 days, we've seen the price go from where it's gone to. In those 20 days, we've had 19 days of bullish activity and 1 day of bearish activity. Now, this area here has formed a demand zone and it's been in my markings for a while, which is 2,554 as a potential area for a rebuy. But nonetheless, anyway, with the structure of what we're seeing here, even though Ethereum is reversing and we're in a very strong area, which the price used as demand and is now a supply area. Now, the reason why I'm using this one is because this is demand zone is really the launching pad for the all-time high. So it's a very strong area of demand. And the fact that we've had a break beneath here. Now, in my previous markings back in May and June, I had this marked out here as a reoptimization route, but we saw we had a very strong movement that continued to go short, but we didn't have the reoptimization until now. So after this very strong bull run, I'm intrigued to see whether the price will start to return. For me, what I do want to see before I make any more assumptions is at least a market structure break of this previous swing low from the previous 2 days, or even better would be down here at just beneath 3K. If I see body closes beneath here and then a return, that would for me be a restructuring of market structure from a bullish perspective to a bearish one. Now, as you notice, as soon as the price started to enter into this order block here of a flip zone of demand and also a supply zone, we've seen that the trend has become a lot. We still see bullish and bearish tones, but compared to what we have here, which is a very strong run up with hardly any resistance to selling, to any bearish pressure, the price has started to kind of have red and blue days in between. So this is a sign of trend weakening. And we can even see from the direction and the shape of the trend that we're starting to tend towards having a bit of a range. And we saw that even last week where we had a bit of a range on the hourly time frame. So I'm hoping to see structure change, and that means we have great opportunity here. Now we've just reoptimized that zone. And if the price continues as to what I've shown you, then there's a trade right now you could actually take. And if the price actually goes all the way to the target, then that would be a fantastic $600 drop. Okay, potentially. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Now let's keep up with what we're looking at. Let's look at Cardano here. So I'll pull up ADA. Now I think I analyzed Cardano with most likely Binance. So let's see if it's here. All right, so USDT, let's see. I think my markings are here. All right, here we go. So guys, here's the recap here. Let's look at what Cardano has done. I'm going to go to the H4 so that my markings make a bit more sense. And let's see what Cardano has done. So Cardano already, guys, has entered into the first buying area. We've seen a bit of a return back towards the $2.70, but it did get to $2.61. So that was our first buying entry done. Now, at the moment, I want to observe these candles very well. This candlestick here from the 24th of August was a very sharp short on the H4. Now, the price hasn't been able to fill the whole entire candle back, which would have been a very strong sign of bullish intention. What we have is we have a body candle, which is about 50% of the area of this area of very strong shorting. So if I was to move this area just slightly, this has become our supply zone area. Now, I think the price is going to go higher and probably get to about 76. But then right now, as to where we are, the price has the danger to continue going short. If Bitcoin goes short, then we would see some shorting on Cardano. But of course, the price will be supporting itself as things go along. Now, the price is breaking beneath lower, and we have the $2.45 mark next if the price breaks beneath. All right. I'm watching Cardano carefully. All right. Again, because of the news about the project and about the stable coins and about smart contracts being enabled, Cardano is really something that people will be holding on to. Now, if the holding patterns of long-term holding continue, then this would support the price, even if Bitcoin drops quite a few $100 or $1,000 even, or Ethereum. This may support Cardano from dropping too far. Now, from a technical standpoint here, there are fractality features missing, which means grand opportunity for us to get even back down to $1.82. All right, so keep your eyes peeled on that, and I will be coming back for us to see what's going on this. All right, now at the moment, I could look at any crypto, okay, but I would say, right now, it would be better for you guys to have a look at what's going on first before we make any adjustments to the price. And then from there, we can make resolutions as to what to do. So keep your eyes peeled, guys, on this, and I'll be definitely pushing out this information as updates come along. Okay. But for now, on what we've been discussing, there are great opportunities. If you guys have some suggestions, leave in the comments beneath so that I can know what you guys want me to look at, and then we can take it from there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. All right. Shoot me a message if you want me to look at something, and I'll catch you guys later on. Money Mikes, and I'm out. Take care.